quiet on set.
Okay.
Tero Documentary presents Filming in Thailand, a podcast for movie lovers with exclusive stories from behind the scenes.
Rolling sound
Sound rolling.
and action.
Hi, I'm your host Stéphane Lambert, and this is a new episode of Filming in Thailand. Here we are, and this is a new episode of Filming in Thailand, and I'm super happy to welcome our guest of today's episode, Max Tersch. Max Tersch,
Great to be here, Stefan. Swadee krap.
welcome.
Welcome to me. Yeah. No, very happy to be here. This is
Very happy for you to have accepted our invitation. Are you filming in Thailand?
Am I filming in Thailand? No. but my clients are. So we can talk about that.
We'll talk about your clients. You have clients because you are a post-producer.
Yes, I'm based here. Yes.
And you are a few words about your background. So you are one of the founder of White Light, the famous post-production studio based in Bangkok, who has its foot, its hands in so many independent films from all over Asia.
Yeah, fortunately we got in at the right time, which is ages ago. So over 15 years, guys. So long time in
15 years
in film. You know, in film life, that's a long time. I
So
think.
you've
But
been
it's good.
a post producer for 15 years.
Yeah, actually, I've been a post producer. 15 years, but alongside, I've been an editor even longer than that. So I'd like to. I don't like to think of myself as too old, but it does. Yeah, it does help to have experience because it's something you probably don't talk about a lot. Post production.
Sure, but it's a very interesting part of the whole process because there is no movie going to the screen, movie, series, whatever, without this such an important step that is post production. Max, let me just go through your impressive bio that we found on internet. So I guess everything is 100% true because it was on internet.
Unless it's fake news. But you, thank you. Go.
So you are an airline pilot?
No.
That's wrong. Okay, that's fake. Okay. So let me find another one.
No, we know Stefan knows me, so he should get this right.
So this is what we found on internet. So actually, we didn't find anything. Fiat that you will see later on screen. Could find researching for days and nights.
That's very difficult to find, you know. But I'm excited. Thanks, Fiat. Let me hear.
Okay. So you're a bilingual entrepreneur. So I guess one of the languages is English, American English. You were born and raised in Thailand and received an education in film and communication at the University of Notre Dame in the U.S. Where is
U.S. It's a French name, but it's in the U.S. in the Midwest.
In the Midwest.
Yeah, it's they call it the Midwestern Ivy League.
So you are one of the founders of White Light. You will tell us what is White Light.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
I would say in most of what we see on screen from Southeast Asia went somehow through your hardware, if we can say that.
Well, we have humble beginnings as usual. We'll talk. We can talk about that, but don't discriminate against humble beginnings. Fortunately, either directly or indirectly, I'd like to say almost all the independent films that had exposure were exported. Was involved with White Light. I mean, it in some capacity. So yes, very proud of that. So by default, like I get to collaborate.
In White Light was involved. You mean White Light finance, White Light post-produce, White Light produce, White Light initiated some project? What's the relationship between this independent cinema movement and White Light and you?
Good question. So if you rewind, say 15 years when we first started. As you all know, I mean, the Thai media industry is huge, but I mean, if we talk specifically for features and independent filmmakers, it was a new wave of booming time, and it's the right place at the right time. I mean, I didn't start this by myself, so we started White Light Studios, 15 years ago, and each of the founders, I mean,
Can you tell us who
founders? Yeah, the founders, Sayambu Mukti Pram, Chachai Ketnas, Lee Charamarikul, Ping Yugala, and myself, Max Tersch. The community wasn't that big, but we each knew, and then we were fortunate enough to, I mean, even if they didn't work with us directly, we were friends with them, or we would always we saw the industry grow from a post-production perspective, but we get to see how all these interesting projects like were conceived, and also how they finished, how they were completed through the difficulties, through the triumphs, so that was an amazing experience for me.
Okay.
To come back from the US and
you came back.
That's
to
the
US
most positive.
as a post producer, or you became a post producer here?
No, that was my beginnings too. So I was born and raised in the Thai independent film industry here.
Okay.
And then so that is 15 years ago, and I say that's the most positive thing of being back here. So I'm at the point where I'm willing here with you, willing to share any insight, sometimes you have to know where you come from and to know where you're going. So I think that's the interesting part about.
We won't need to use the taser. We both feel ready to answer. Okay, that's more.
But I'm not like you asked in the beginning. I'm not out filming anything. So bear with me. We're talking about post, which is a bit different. But I think we can make it entertaining for anyone interested in filming here, because that's part of the process, a big part.
Okay, we've been already talking for 5 hours. Now it's good if we go into things specific.
Okay. I have almost 3 jobs.
Okay.
I edit, and if I'm not editor, at least I supervise the editing team, and the process for finishing post production, and then of course as part of a company, you're always on the lookout for new productions, and people in the industry. So you have to. That's why I'm here. So, you need to meet everybody, share, and also it's win-win. It brings in business. So those are you can do one of 3 things, but as you progress, if you do choose to become a post supervisor, it's good to have experience in these 3 things. It gives you more opportunity.
Okay, let's go back. Let's go back to the US, where
interesting.
You went to school. When did you decide to go into the filming industry, the movie industry, the movie business?
I like to say, I was a late bloomer. I mean, I went to film school, but before that, I was just a liberal arts student. I was dabbling in other things, economics. This, computer programming, but eventually, I like to say I'm a late. At the end of my studies, I said I didn't have time to do film directing. You only have, so much time in during your studies if you waste all your money. So I saw this thing called Avid, and I was kind of like, oh, what's this? And I don't want to tell you, we had to fight for the Avid machine.
But Avid at that time was the software machine.
It still is.
But there is a high competition, very strong competition.
That's a nerdy thing. We'll talk on. You can get into a whole rabbit hole, if a whole series if you want. But we'll keep it simple today. But yeah, I fell in love with the Avid system, and I loved tinkering around with storytelling on the computer. Without having to deal with too many people, kind of introverted at that time. Filmmakers can be introverted, So it opened my eyes as an editor, and people like when I interview post production people, they go, "Do you like to be in the sun or do you like to be in the cave?" So we're more of the cave people. We like AC and we're like Gollum, you know.
I have this question in mind.
So that was my studies. I studied directly film production.
So you were
and post production. I was in the.
So I have this in mind. So you're one of the founders of White Light, but as an editor, as a post-production supervisor, as a post-producer, we could say that you don't need this structure to perform your art, to be what you are.
That's true.
Would you say that was a necessary step to have this structure, to have these partners, to have a company, a family to perform this, or it could have been you by yourself?
The answer is yes. As I explained, you can be by yourself. I mean,
what about you personally?
But personally, at the time, you don't really. I'm not at that time. I couldn't strategize.
No, of course.
That well, but probably if to analyze it, yeah, it was a direct thinking. Like you're an editor, and okay, at the beginning you can like hustle, and with one job, but then you want to grow, you want to get more projects.
Sure.
So an easy way is to kind of like get your foot in. Hey, to talk to directors. I know you already have an editor, but I can help supervise. It can manage things. There's many levels of supervising. You can start off as a coordinator. Even a runner. You can start as a guy who just coordinates, running the hard disks, running the data between, and then or if you're on an indie project, without experience, you can even start with responsibility. Like, look, I'll take all the editing stuff, all the post stuff off your hands. Let me supervise it. I'll make sure you get the right lab. You get the right subtitlers. You get the right colorists. You get the right sound guys. So you can get involved in more projects. So it was a direct one, and of course, falling into the business structure, it's not the easiest thing in the world. I wouldn't recommend it to everyone because it takes a lot of mental pressure and money and this and that is very risky. But
you need to be also involved with the business side, not only on the creative side.
I'm hoping it pays off. It turns out when you get older, then you have people that are there, and then you don't have to do everything yourself all the time. So that's the benefit.
What do you think are the quality of a good post-production supervisor? So what are the qualities of a
top one?
Yeah, the top qualities. The qualities you have or you don't have. You wish you had.
Oh gosh, that's a good question. The top quality, patience, which I don't have.
Patience.
Patience, really, really. It's like probably in film everyone knows the director is the most responsible because if it makes or breaks
the ship,
and of course the money bags, but the person who needs the most patience is the post producer, and I would argue, of course, the producer has to have the most because he's waiting around for everyone to work, and then second to that, I think, is the post supervisor. We need a lot of patience,
I have a quote to support what you're saying, and I like this quote. It's from Guillermo del Toro. He says that producers... Hellboy. So Guillermo del Toro says, someone wrote that he said somewhere, but let's believe it's true. So that producers are the captains of the ship, steering it through uncharted waters to bring the story to life. I thought that was the job of the editor.
The editor can be like the director's, like, I don't know. I hate to use the word psychologist. So it's very important. We don't have to steer anything. We just have to make sure the director is like healthy, and then we're like his sounding board, and then we can convince him behind the scenes. Because we have access to him.
What's happening when the director is not so sure?
Because the reason I use the word psychologist is they have to trust you because they're not sure, but they're not telling anybody else. I'm gonna get killed for this because movie making is like super. It can be super insecure, guys. So we see,
Sure.
we see the meltdowns, we see the indecisions, and but the ones that are successful are patient, and we don't let the secrets out. To tell you the truth, we have their best interests. So we want to create the editing room as a safe space to hash things out, and it can be a good experience, and you can have some pretty bad days because all the pressures. Is it going to be like what do we have? Everyone's expecting,
I was told once that the
kidding.
difference between a fiction and a documentary at the editing level is that once the fiction reach the editing room, you just take all the rough, the different scenes, and you follow the script and you stitch them together. A documentary, you get all the footage, and then you start to create the film, create the narrative start to exist at this stage.
Yeah, it's just there's scripted television and there's unscripted, but for the most part, I guess you could say scripted documentary is like a feature. So
Like a feature, you know exactly what you want to get.
Yeah. So that's a fake doc. I mean, let's talk about the real documentaries.
What do you mean the real documentary?
They're real. They're not fiction. They're
Okay.
and you can't script that. You can't script that. You can.
Why is that? Why you cannot script? Because you don't know what the people will
Unless
tell
they're-
you. You don't know what you will film yet.
Well, documentary is you're waiting for the story to unravel while you're working. But you're absolutely correct. We don't like with a documentary. Like right now, I'm working on one that's unscripted, and for example, I asked the director to even have transcripts. Transcripts are like what everyone
Transcript of the interview.
interviews, not even interviews. Sometimes you have like breakdowns of what's been shot or just or fly on the wall interviews, kind of like more observational, and we can talk about that later. But you don't even have that. So yeah, you have to build a script.
How do you define the scope of your work? Because you are not supposed to, as the editor again, you are not supposed to direct the film, to produce the film. You are supposed to follow some kind of guideline and put the image together, following the mood that the director wants to influx in his film. So where does it stop? Where do you know that there is a line you should not cross? If there is a line you should not cross.
I just actually saw another podcast that is actually music, and that's why it's stuck in my head. I'll quote that. The best producer is the one that. So I'm the best producer or the post producer / editor is the one that interferes the least. So maybe
That's interesting.
yeah.
But in real life,
So
is it
in real life, if there's many things to get done, then you want an editor that jumps in and helps as much as, but not over. I mean, if they need 50% of your help, why are you going to do 80%? Then you're going to be a pain in the butt for. So even at my age, I'm learning that. So I really like what they said, because the music, the musicians are working, but if they're stuck, like, why are you gonna go play their instruments for them? Unless you can help. So you want to be careful, not overstep, but a successful editor, post supervisor, steps to the line when as much as they can, like take it to the limit. So there's a difference between here we go with features and pure documentaries. There's more room for interpretation with documentaries because it's not visualized. You're doing reality. So it's like it's my perspective versus the director's. And I recommend, again, hashing it out in the safe space, because as an editor you're going to get more of that. As a post sup, you're going to get less of that. But sometimes the post supervisor just makes sure everyone's on timeline. And
Okay.
and that's as simple. That's a bit simpler. Is a lot of bargaining, negotiating. So if you're into that, then you have less. Then you need to do less of the analysis and the the psychosis that goes in that they call the safe room. Okay, so without getting into too much detail, the best editors are the good psychologists in that room, and then to keep the secrets. Really, we affect it.
Okay.
We're the first viewers, we're the first listeners. Even if it's an inexperienced editor, he's in there with the director, that they're gonna feel each other. He's gonna even you're quiet, but you know the editor doesn't like it.
What are the 5 films, fiction or documentaries that you are the most proud of?
Okay. It's easy because I can go all the way back to the beginning, and a lot of people won't know this.
So 1850, beginning of the
18
cinema.
Yeah, 100 years ago, during the vampire.
You look so young.
Stay happy. Antanakorn, we did, when I came back, we worked on South Mongkon film. We was shooting on 35 millimeter, and it was creative because I hadn't lived in Thailand, and this is a Thai director giving me a chance, and my friend a chance. We're third culture kids. Our Thai wasn't even clear, but he gave us a chance. So I really appreciate it's the late Antanakorn though. He directed. We worked on Fake, Opatika together, and X-Men, and this was like 15 years ago, and so I worked with him on 3 films, but then after that he did 2 or 3. Some are on Netflix called with Pacharapa, with Pacharapa, it's called Single Woman. But he passed away a couple of years ago, but I totally burnt out after 3 movies, but
You did the 3 movies in a row, or how did you?
Yeah, we did three in a row, and I just kind of like, I love you, but but it was features. So I'm gonna do a documentary now. There's no pressure or something. I forget, because he was intense, and he died early because he was that intense. He was that. I mean, he's always thinking about. So take care of yourself. But it was shot on film, and he's
So this is
he's a good storyteller in terms of I really enjoyed. He made Fake was our first film together. He made a love letter to Bangkok. So if you look back at it, it's almost like a time capsule of Jaruchak, of these places that.
So for people who like Thailand, would be fantastic.
I mean, in the city, and then I compare it to like he was at that. Today I would compare him to he directed Freelance. Nawapon, he does Bangkok very well.
Okay.
So I enjoyed.
As a director.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. You asked for 5.
Yeah,
sure. And then I moved on.
Make it easy for you. 5.
Okay. Then I stuck with. Luckily, over 10 years ago, I got a job as assistant editor for P Nui. She's the daughter of Tan Mui, which is of Naresuan. He's the Prince director. So there's his daughter. She's the editor for Tompenek, which is one of the auteurs in Thailand. So as a second editor and a post supervisor, worked with them on multiple films. I wasn't directly like the main editor, but I really stuck it out and learned a lot from working with them on Nang Mai, which is a nymph. It went to Cannes on Certain Regard back in the day, and then we did Headshot. Headshot is 10 years ago, but it's like a Thai crime film noir, which is cool. Should be on Netflix, called Headshot. And then we did some we saw that took forever, but that, I mean, Bene gets to,
okay.
He and right now he even released a series that I was assistant editor on and partially post supervisor, but it was the number 1 series on Netflix now. So I mean, see how this is only the second one. We kept a long relationship, and something is fruitful. So that's, and then of course my partner in crime at work, he's a director, Chachai. As we worked on multiple films together, starting
Will be a guest
8
in
years
one of
ago.
the
Yeah, and I
episodes,
really
yes.
and he's so busy that I get to edit a lot. We have two editors, but his style is he'll disappear, and then the editors, we work really. We always do 2 versions, and he picks. So not too many notes. So very very creatively inspiring. Because we shot in Myanmar.
We
started with From Bangkok to Mandalay.
Bangkok to Mandalay. That was a huge success.
It wasn't in the editing room in this, but afterwards, we didn't break our backs, and then we keep trying. So it was a fruitful relationship. I'm not even getting into 5 because like these guys already took 3 directors. Takes 15 years of my life, and in between,
15 years.
why not? I mean,
It's nice. I mean, that's a
but
legacy.
But one of my directors died.
You are listening to Filming in Thailand, a podcast by Tero Documentary, with your host, Stéphane Lambert.
And we are back, and this is Filming in Thailand with our fantastic guest, Max Tersch, one of the co-founder of White Light, this famous production house that is involved in 80% of all the independent films being released in Southeast Asia. Would you say that?
Not 80%, but I mean
More?
If we don't want to be humble, yeah, more. No. In Thailand, in Thailand, all the independent. But we're breaking into. We're 10 years old now. We want to. We do a lot of the Netflix series, not all of them. We work on the post. We're post housed on Rama 9, and you've been there, Stefan.
Oh, yeah, you have.
You brought
where you have a
very kind. You brought us some great projects, The Journey, and this and that. We're so grateful for and it's a big industry. It's growing, so we can't keep all of the projects, but we have the big budget stuff and small budget stuff now.
When you say big budget or small budget, don't be too specific if you don't want to be too, but just to give the listeners an idea of what is a small budget, what is a big budget. Big budget is what? $1 million. Small budget is $1,000. How does it work?
Big budget could be, it's not done yet, but it's like I can only give some details, like it's a co-production with Japan, and not Amazon.
Not to tell about how much goes to White Light, but let's say the overall budget of the film, a big budget film would be what? $10 million?
No,
$1 million?
No, let's just say millions of dollars. If you're working with a Japanese director, and I can't get into.
Sure,
but it's totally open. It's totally open. If that we
and a small budget. That's for the people who are listening. Someone who has a small budget or consider his project to be on a small budget, what would be the minimum for him to be able to call you? I mean, to reach out to you and say, hey, I have something, and like, what would be the minimum you would request to get involved?
I mean, for
if there is a minimum, maybe there is no minimum. I don't know.
Everything you can get grants, but I mean, you need. It's an expensive thing to do. Filmmaking. I mean, you can do stuff on a shoestring, but I mean, like if you're planning on getting something, to not only festivals, but to at least air on some VOD. I mean, at least have a million baht. There are qualifications that you need. I mean to get into certain festivals or streamers. I mean they do QC it, so you definitely need to plan ahead. I mean,
you have some independent directors, producers and directors. Sometimes they work in team, most of the time, and they say, we don't invest in post-production because at the end the story matters or the actors matters, but what will be the difference if we really invest in color grading or sound mixing? That does it make a difference to have a great great post-production?
I have a good analogy for you, Stefan. You've been in Southeast Asia a long time. Just peek at. This will make it so clear. just pick at some of our neighbors. I mean, I'm not gonna name any names, but I mean, it's like peeking back and at some of their movies, and just like you can say the story's okay.
Sure.
I mean, but the production value. I mean, maybe 10 years ago, if you're in Thailand, if you compared it to our neighbors, Thailand's known for
The quality of the technique.
yeah, for post.
Post.
We've won a lot of
Yes.
TVC commercials at Cannes Lions, and then now it spills into film.
Is there a difference between what you see coming from Thailand and what you see coming from other places?
It's declining. It's declining.
In terms of quantity or in terms of quality, or what do you mean is declining?
The projects that are pitched,
Okay.
that are Thai based. I mean, happily, I'll say 4 years ago we had the Thai cave incident. It's kind of then that was a good year. That was a good year. We had five documentaries made on the same story, and 3 were in Thailand.
Okay.
And we all got some work.
Where do you
But
think
now it dried up. I don't know. You tell me. Because
is it because of the censorship? Is it because of the lack of financing? Is it because people are finding it too difficult? It's difficult to make a documentary. It takes time. It can be dangerous. It can be challenging in terms of, as you were mentioning before, in terms of getting your idea into a movie that is watchable, because so many things can happen in between.
yeah, I'm not sure. Like I said, the positive thing is the features, the quality went up. The post, as you can peek at our neighbors, look at the quality. You can see with their own eyes. Okay, maybe the documentary didn't make that jump because we're used to more verite. They don't need to look so slick, but then they don't compete. I mean, you can't tell the value
In terms of production value.
Production value.
Is there a scene for Thai documentaries or Thai-born documentaries?
Of course, the scene, but
ecosystem.
I told you that through the grapevine I'll just say, because Doc Club is maybe the only, and at least there's the scene for documentaries in Thai. Because people
Club is importing foreign documentaries and showing them to the Thai audience.
Here's my answer. They have to show features. They're named Doc Club, but they're showing fiction films now because the demand is down. Okay. I mean, so that's the proof.
But so let me challenge you on that.
Okay.
Is the demand down, or is the offer weak?
Is the demand down?
It means if I when Bangkok International Festival shows a documentary produced by James Cameron, Full House, 2 times in a row. When there is an equally interesting documentary from an unknown director, well, we have 10, 15 people coming for the viewing, coming for the screening. So is it the demand that is weak, or is the offer that is weak,
We talked about it, and it was a kind of messed with our heads. Thai documentaries, like, in Europe, is exotic. They'll watch it.
Okay.
So unfortunately, it's like the reverse psychology, which we hate. But how can I deny it? And of course, Thais here, we one of the best.
Do you see a trend in documentaries coming from Thailand? Are they less than before? Are they more? Are they more interesting? How does it work?
We usually go to this is from the company side. We go to the film art. I mean that's the way to get a pulse. I mean, it's important. I mean, especially if you're growing into the more regional work, you go. I mean, there's Tokyo Film Art, there's Busan, there's Hong Kong.
Singapore.
Sometimes we only meet the Thai people once a year there, not in Thailand.
You are listening to Filming in Thailand, a podcast by Tero Documentary, with your host, Stéphane Lambert.
And we are back for the third part of We Read Thailand with our fantastic guest, Max Tersch, co-founder of White Light, post-production supervisor, editor, colorist. And I would like to discuss a few things with you concerning your job, your field of activity, and what's happening with AI. So basically, you have.
Woo, let's go. What is the film? What is the film industry for? It's for the film people. What
Sure.
So it's not for robots making movies for robots. It's let's make it films made by people for people with the help of robots.
The future of your line of work, post-production, is challenged by these AI capabilities.
Yes.
An accountant 50 years ago was the guy who know how to calculate. Now the accountant is the guy who know how to organize, and then the calculation is made automatically. And soon there won't be any need to organize because this will also be automated.
Yes.
And then the accountant will be the guy with the knowledge to control and maybe to advise. So
I know what you're
what's
asking.
the future?
I hope it's not like Black Mirror where you know.
There's an episode of Black Mirror about AI creating films.
Yeah, I'll make it short. It's kind of like there's just like the CEO, and she has the AI computer just in the back of her room, and so the AI makes it, but she decides, and so it's like you don't even need actors. So that's what we don't want. But
Sure, but this is not, because if everything stays the same, and now
no, here's the picture. So you have the owner, corporate owner, and with the AI making stuff, and then no employees. So that's the worst case scenario for people. So to get just a part of that, if your job it's too rote, so you have to use AI to help you do maybe 10 projects at a time instead of 4. So use AI.
Are you using AI yourself?
Yeah. For I don't want to take the jobs of the transcriptors yet, or transcribers, but I've done that job. It's painful, guys. Don't spend all your life transcribing. Let the AI like listen to your footage, and in Avid you can transcribe almost all the audio, but it's not accurate.
At Filming in Thailand, we have a time machine.
Tell me about it. What time machine? You want to be younger, Stefan?
So the question I'm going to ask will start the time machine, and after it starts, you'll be able to answer easily.
Okay.
Imagine we could travel back in time, and you have the possibility to meet your own self at 20 years old. What would you tell, or what advice, or what would you say to your own self at 20 years old with what you know now? Let's launch the time machine.
This is the time traveling machine.
20 years old? Oh, man. Like, exercise more. I don't know. I mean, like...
You mean, in other words, take care of your health better?
Yeah. Take care of your health. I got into it a bit late, but I mean, better late than never. You know, you don't want to be 50 and then you know, with diabetes. So and it goes
50.
No, not yet. But I mean, I'm saying if that's waiting too long.
Super young.
Yeah. That's waiting too long. So in post is very unhealthy, and
you need to be healthy in post. Yeah.
because it can get obsessive. Office syndrome it's and remember I told you about the safe room. There's a lot of psychosis. A lot of psychosis in that room. So maybe you got to get out of the room and balance. So you know, because you have to tell your coworkers, damn it, I got to go running today, and you know, and then it's the culture where everyone's just trying to, like, I don't know, be vampires and just kind of like just, I don't know. They seem to work very hard, but can't you even go out and exercise? I mean, do that, okay? That's what I'll tell all the young people. And tell your boss, damn it, I got to go exercise, the gym, whatever, hiking. You know, get out on Sundays, please. Is that fair? Is that fair enough?
Sounds very good.
I know it's not technical.
Thank you for this time travel. If you had to choose within the fiction, I mean, long features, series, or documentaries, some titles that would illustrate what is it to be well post-produced, what would you say they are?
Okay. Easy one that everyone can see. Okay, my company worked on it, but
Good.
I think it really shows. Hunger is one of the first original Netflix films
From Thailand.
from Thailand that it really shows the post. Go compare. I mean, compared to I don't know, like Black Mirror. I mean, the quality of
Very high. So Hunger.
Hunger, and even we have the documentary 13 Lives.
13 Live.
I mean,
No, the cave from Pailin.
Pilot,
Yes.
not 13 Lives, but
The Cave Rescue.
yeah, the Trapped 13.
The Trap 13.
So-
Cave Rescue is Tom Waller film.
Yeah, and also Tom, we did all great post, guys.
Okay,
So with the I'm open. Everyone's getting super talented in Thailand. I mean, bring it on. The more the merrier.
Before we part, I have a surprise for you.
Oh,
Then I will call Fiat to
am I gonna faint? Am I gonna faint?
maybe please don't.
Yeah.
I would like to offer you the award for best guest ever.
Oh, how do they do this? They do this now? Chup chup. Is it Biden or it's politician? Elon Musk.
Here it is. It's the award for best guest ever.
Okay.
Don't get too excited. Everybody gets it.
Voila.
It's the mug. It's the Tersch documentary official mug.
Okay, I'll take it, but because I'm a sucker, I like people, so people, you get the best one. I get second best. Me and Tom and whoever I saw, so I'm glad to be with part of all the.
So you're part of the Filming in Thailand family.
But we want more ties, nah? So more ties on your show. I'll pray for that because we need everyone. We need everyone. Like all the crazy foreigners, crazy ties. Let's get together.
So Max, thank you very much for coming today. Thank you for all this insight. I wish you the best. What's coming next to your plate?
Elephant conservation documentary. So
Wow.
no, but
Passion
I was
project?
back and forth. It's of course everything's a passion. I've heard that words. Everything's a passion project. Okay, that means you suffer for your art. But yeah. I mean, you can't pick and choose everything you do. But I'm happy. We talked about documentaries, and this is it's not controversial and fun, but I mean it's important. So we keep at it, and thanks for watching. I hope I can be back. And
of course.
we need to keep practicing.
We'll keep your phone so that we'll sure be back.
Yeah.
I have one thing to tell you. À bientôt.
A bientôt. Kopunta.
Okay, people, fantastic. That's a wrap.
Gosh, I forgot to record. We have to. Again.
That was Filming in Thailand, an original podcast brought to you by Tersch Documentary on Hoodie Podcast, with your host, Stefan Londe.
Thank you for listening and stay tuned for our next episode of Filming in Thailand.
Voila. We start from scratch. Okay.
You're too nice.
Just the ending part.